and we're on live.
User in your channel started recording.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Chris Scales.
Hey, Mike.
Greg Hectus.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Tony Groves.
Good evening, fellas.
Hey, well, welcome back. All right. Well, thanks for joining tonight. We got a lot of stuff, so let's jump into it. First off, we want to mention the Old Bastards Racing League. We're sponsoring their Monday night ARCA series over there at the Old Bastard Racing League. And congratulations to Steve Thompson, who wins it at the Irwindale Speedway. And so there were only 2 cautions for 29 racers on a short track. Wow, that sounds pretty good, considering how Richmond's been going this week.
Yeah.
That was such an awesome race. That was actually my first race with the Old Bastards League, and I mean I was really slow, and I was the lucky fella that brought out the first caution. I think it was at like lap 55 or 56. Man, those guys can go. What a great bunch of guys.
Wow, green flag run, huh?
Yeah, I was pretty terrible. I wasn't all that quick, but I was keeping it off the wall for the beginning of the race, first 50 laps or so. But I think I got caught up in one wreck and got a 4X, and then I got a lap down because I had, on that first caution, actually, the back of the field, which is where I wasn't caught up, and I didn't pay attention and came down pit road that first time and should have waited till the second time. Leaders were right behind us and went a lap down. And then I was racing a guy for the lucky dog and slid out, just barely touched him and wrecked him and the guy behind us. So that sucks. Yeah, especially it's like Tony said, they're really clean racers. It's the last thing you want to do is get into anybody.
Yep. Yeah, looking at the points, it looks like Kevin Pearson is the points leader. All right, well, let's jump into topics. Chris Scales, you're up first.
Sorry there, Mike. I wasn't ready. I usually go first. I'm all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, so this one is a little tidbit on the day-night thing. But pretty cool. It's like a little video that Greg Hill tweeted out that shows the day-night transition at a particular track and what it looks like, and as it goes from night to day, and then the lights come on, once it gets dark.
I actually did get to see this video, and it looks freaking awesome. I worry about these features, these really good-looking features that they're adding, and how they're going to affect the sim, considering some of the other stuff. There's, people have already been having some issues with performance.
Yeah, and it shows the clouds going over the track, and they make shadows as well, and whatnot. So it's very interesting. They show a dirt track as well, and how that transitions, like I said, until the lights come on, and then what it looks like as it goes completely dark. Pretty cool. All right, Greg, you're next.
Next topic is VR versus triples discussion, and I got the video here. I haven't looked up much on it, but it was I guess it's someone that's comparing the VR versus the triples. I don't want to watch the video here because I was going to make too much noise on my stream, but I actually got into a discussion about triples on Facebook a couple days ago as well on this. So I don't have much of the information on VR or triples because I run neither of them, but I know most of you guys run a lot of the guys run triples on the team, and then some are singles like me.
Yeah, if you go fast forward on this video, and you can find it at YouTube called at the Meatloaf guys. I mean the MOATF Esports TV channel. Anyway, they did the comparison, and if you go to the end of the video at 9:08, you'll see the times, and they put up their times that when they ran triples, and they put up their times when they ran VR, and it was actually faster on VR for this particular person. The first couple laps by 2 and 1 second, and then 2 seconds, and then 1 second, and then 1 second, and then 1 second. So that was always faster on the VR each and every time. So during their little informal test. But I thought it was interesting that somebody took the time to document it and try to figure it out.
The thing with
Like-
the VR is that you can swivel your head and you can look at the apex of the corner, which is kind of hard to do with triples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see more of these. I'd like to see more people do the same thing. Not that there's that many people that are going to have both VR and triples, but yeah, I'd like to see more people try it.
Well,
User
and then
entered
there's
your
another
channel.
variation, what Greg is trying right now. Tell us about that, Greg.
Well, I've been on the IR or track IR. I've been trying it for the last two. Well, I've used it for 2 races, and I find because I can look, I'm not going to go to a triples setup for probably a long time or ever. And if I do, I can still use track IR, but I'm not going to go VR. But I found with track IR, I can actually see my apex and I can look down better. I sent a video on our messenger too that showed that how I was looking while I was avoiding a wreck in today's race that I had earlier, and how I managed my way through it by looking, where I was going, and it, the track IRs worked really well. I've had 2 races with it. I have a second and a fourth using it, and 0 incident points since I've been running it. So I don't know if it's contributed to it or it's been the setups, but I'm really enjoying being able to look around the corner further than I used to be able to.
Well, I think the track hour is an advantage for sure on a single. I don't think I would personally like it on triples because I get this nauseous feeling if I'm not like locked to center kind of thing. I'm not good on roller coasters and that kind of thing, and that's why I think I wouldn't be good on VR either. But yeah, I'm interested by your results. I've heard similar people say it really helps. So
Well, Bobby and I were talking about, he's got the triples and he wants to know how I'm doing with this because he's thinking of trying it with the triples because you can look around on the triples then too and incorporate it with a triple monitor.
yeah. All right, Tony Groves, you're next. Nürburgring.
Yeah, there's a Twitter post there. They're getting ready for the semifinal number 2 at the Sim Racing Expo at the Nürburgring, and I believe from what I'm seeing here, it's come and gone because we've got another tweet from iRacing showing the podium at Nürburgring, and it looks like, and I am totally going to butcher these names, but Maximilian Benecke, he grabbed gold. Silver came Moritz Lohner and Jeremy Boodaloop. And if I butchered those names, I do apologize.
That first guy you mentioned, he's the guy that has the over 10,000 I rating on road. We talked about him several months ago. What was his name again?
Maximilian
The guy who won. Yeah.
Benecke.
Yeah, that guy, Maximilian.
Yes, I remember him. I remember, looking at all those stats that he's got.
Yeah, he is something else. But yeah, he won the Sim Racing Expo, so we give him a shout out for sure. But a bunch of heavy hitters were there apparently. Mitchell DeJong and all of them. So very interesting. The setup. They did tweet out several pictures and videos. In fact, they did a video of the whole event. It was very long, and you could sit and watch everything. It was all broadcasted. They had announcing and everything. It was pretty cool.
It's almost like a 10-hour video. Holy
Yeah,
jeez.
it's like the whole event, and I've watched pieces of it. There's actually in parts of it there's a split screen where you can see some people from iRacing, like Steve Myers, the vice president or whatever his title is, and a few other people are there from iRacing as well. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And so, Will Gibson, you just joined us. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All
Welcome
right, so
back.
we're going to throw you to the wolves. Will, you have the next topic, AI.
Yeah, they had some AI available there at the Nürburgring for people to race against, and they were showing it off. We did get a couple cool YouTube videos of people racing with AI. One thing that was confirmed via the forums is only one person can race against AI at a time. So you're unable to set up a race, say, with another friend and AI. It's just you versus AI or you online racing other people. But we did get some really good footage of it. Have you
Yeah,
guys
the
saw that
footage
video?
is pretty cool. I mean, it's just like somebody with a camera phone shooting over somebody's head, uh, basically an AI road race. And I mean, what'd you guys think of it? I mean, when I looked at it and I looked at the AI and what their line was and kind of how the start went, and I mean, it looked like real people. I mean, I couldn't really tell the difference.
You could even see where the guy driving makes contact, or the AI makes contact with him because they were going three wide into a pretty tight corner, and they all held on to it. It's just a little Rubbins racing. So the AI looks good and not like a pushover AI like, say, other sims that I've raced in the past.
Yeah, if he would get a nose in on him on the AI car, the AI car would realize that and it would give him room, and keep to his lane and that kind of thing. And I was very impressed with what I saw. So, yeah, check that out. That YouTube channel is called Romsen Racing, Romsen, Romsen Racing. The other thing that we found posted about the AI was a post by Tyler Hudson, and one thing that he mentioned because he's been testing it, and so uh, this is an opinion that he has. He says, "quote I have had some incredibly intense battles with the AI. When you find the right setting, they will race you very hard, holding me extremely tight in high-speed corners, making dive bomb passes, pulling out like they're going to pass, only to not make the move." So it's got me juicy thinking about it. It's going to be fun.
I think it'll be a really good feature for people who are a little bit more casual. I'm hoping it kind of takes less of a learning curve out of the sim for rookies and people moving up the classes. You get a little more seat time, a little more practice, and we'll see less of those posts of how do I get out of rookies? Because I mean, practicing on track by yourself is one thing, but once you're around other cars, it's a whole new sim.
Well, Matt Busa posted in the forums about it. His idea was, hey, how about for setup building? I think John might like this one, but what if we put up a 40 car race and I can put 40 different setups in 40 different cars and have them all go around 100 laps, and then we can see which one's the best. And that would be a great way of making setups.
That'd be insane.
Like each car has got a different wedge in it, or whatever, different tire pressure, and you try to figure out what's better.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
40 different sets. That's a slow week for you, isn't it?
That'd be cool. You just
Yes,
change
it
them
is.
incrementally. You just have each one is up a notch or something.
It it sounds like he mentioned the AI settings. That would be a good way to test as well, as if you could say, hey, this AI driver drives very heavy into a corner. This guy kind of rolls the corner better. This guy likes to kind of diamond it off. Like if you could control the aspects of the AI to that detail, that would be phenomenal for testing as well. Because I know everybody drives differently, and that does play a big role into doing a setup. But you could see the same setup over four different driving styles. Like, hey, we could give and take a little bit here or here for this driver to adapt, and I think there's a lot of potential for it for sure.
We'll see. That's not confirmed. That was just somebody's idea, but it kind of sounds like they're building it that way, where you can have different, hardness between the drivers, so to speak, like Tyler was mentioning. All right, Chris, let's keep moving. You're next. Hot fixes have been coming out like hot cakes.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had quite a few of them. I think we actually might have even had another one this morning. I noticed it was down for a little bit. But I believe the first one was on the 20th, and some of the things they had changed in that one, fixed a crash when loading with older DX10 compatible GPUs, added optimizations to reduce possible stutters when switching to the F10 radio black box and when the voice chat would display certain images, fixed a post-processing issue when AA was set to off in the graphics options and certain post-processing options were still enabled. I adjusted the particle system's spark texture images and optimized CPU usage of the animated character system. That was just for the ones on 20th. Okay, this is actually the older one. This is the ones for the 18th.
Yeah,
I think this is the one that was a little bit bigger.
total. Yeah, there've been 4 total since the release. So.
And okay, this is those 18th one. It sounds like the one that was causing us a lot of problems. That's where they optimized particle effects, skid marks, tire tracks, static shadows, and the UI flag display to protect against potential CPU GPU stalls, which were found to be major sources of stutters.
Yeah, stuttering. Hopefully that's fixed.
Yeah, so we've had a chance to. So this has been a few days ago. Has anybody had any of that since?
I ran pretty smooth in the race today, except for I had something turned on in the background, so it wasn't iRacing's fault, but the rest of it was smooth. There were some people that were having some connection issues, but it ran really good.
Yeah, but this is a stuttering issue. There's one topic just two ahead I'm going to throw into this. If you had a graphics card that was DX10 level, you were not iRacing. You were broken. And this last release that was done this morning actually fixed that. And that's one of the big reasons they put out the one today, is so to get those people back on track.
That's what they get for having those fancy graphics cards anyway.
That's the older graphics cards, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the older ones?
So
oh,
they
yeah,
basically just cut off anybody who had an older one.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I wasn't paying close enough attention.
All right, Greg, you're next. Roval news.
I actually saw this earlier on this week too. I'm just trying to find the link here. Where's the link? Is it above the?
It's a Facebook link, but
oh, okay,
yeah,
I see it now.
iRacing.
I got it now. Anyways, so they look. I saw the tweet from NASCAR saying that they were going, or from iRacing saying that they were inviting anybody or any of the
Yeah, we lost
Xfinity. You got me?
Yes.
Anyways, sorry about that. When I clicked open a thing, I don't know why I did it. Anyways, so it was iRacing posted out that if there's any Monster Energy drivers or Xfinity drivers that wanted to test out the Roval that hadn't gotten any seat time, could come down to their facility and test it on their beta, I guess, of it that they have running so far on their rigs that they got set up at the iRacing facility.
Nice, but we can't run it next week.
Yeah, that's kind of what caught me. It's like, okay, so it's good enough for them to run. I mean, I guess it's might be a little bit buggy, but they can't. We can't test it. I want to run it too.
All right.
The artwork isn't done, is what I read somewhere. The track is done, but the artwork isn't.
Stick it on that goofy test server and let us have at it.
Right, like Long Beach, the test track they called it or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, some people suggested that, but no, I don't think they're going to budge. This is not coming out in time for next week. So, but if you're a real NASCAR driver, you can go test. And I guess let me ask that question: who do you think will actually fly up there and do that? Do you think anyone will actually take them up on their offer?
I wonder if one of the Roush Fenway drivers does it.
You'd think that they would figure out a way they could give it to them in their house, they're on their personal server, without having to make them fly up there. Just give them a sign into the beta server or whatever.
I don't know. It's probably difficult on iRacing's part there. I don't know how it works for that stuff.
Right.
they've had beta tests in the past. I would think that would be the best way to go about it, and I'm sure guys like say Christopher Bell. I know he has a lot of praise for iRacing. I'm sure he's a beta tester, especially with the dirt and adding his midget and everything.
Right.
So
He probably already has beta credentials because he helped develop the dirt cars. So, yeah, I mean, wouldn't you just give him access to the new track or whatever? But yeah, cool. All right, let's keep moving. Tony, you're next on the car is buried in the track.
Yeah, so Randy Roberts posted up a couple pictures from a Talladega race that he did, and yeah, that's exactly what it is. The right side of the cars are all kind of buried in the track. They're not going with the track. They're kind of staying level and digging right into the banking on the corners. Alexander Horn piped up and just says, "Well, that doesn't look right." That's about as far as that goes. But I gotta say, I've never noticed that before. I don't know if that's just kind of a one-off thing, or if everybody in that race was noticing the same thing.
It's not just one of the cars; it's all of the cars too.
it almost looks like when a car gets kind of jumpy with their internet connection, and it like looks like it's about to go through the wall, then it appears back in its groove. It's like it thought it was on the straightaway, was level, but is actually in the middle of the corner. It almost looks like network related in a way.
I could recreate this. But remember when I had my Talladega problem with blinking, and the cars were like you said, jumping around and sinking into the track, and sure, I could have freeze framed the video at the just the right spot and recreated this photo. I bet. So I bet you that's what it is. We're just seeing a still photo, but I bet you if we saw a video, it'd just be like blinking out stuff.
Well, that's why I wonder, like, is everybody else in the race experiencing the same thing? Because, if all the cars are jumping around, that's typically means
Huh.
it's your issue, right? Like your internet issues usually.
Well, and this was the problem with, that Mike and I did experience. Like, you're bottoming out, and it's that's what it did with a lot of the cars. They would look like they'd roll on their side and then drop back down. So maybe that is what is happening.
All right, let's keep moving. Next one I got. We're going to talk about the race that we announced, the special event for Chris Scales. Thanks, Chris, for being on the podcast with us. Your wife is going through some health issues with cancer, and we're helping raise some money for that by having a special event on October 4th, a Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And the buy-in is $25, guys. But guess what? The prizes are pretty nice. You got a sim wheel from Max Pappas as the grand prize. We got $25 Papa John's gift cards for the stage winners. And then second in third place, MPI Max Pappas gift cards for $25 each. Also hats and mystery awards as well. So, man, you guys are in the money races. I mean, you're not going to win money, but you can win good prizes that are worth money. And so please come join this event. Greg, tell us how to enter.
Before I tell you the other thing, just so we can elaborate on that, Max Pappas wheel that they're offering is your choice of, I think there's 3 or 4 different choices on the site for that specific a wheel configuration. You can get a formula wheel or a different type wheel, and then there's also all the oval wheels. But you also get the adapter that works for your rig as well. So it's for everybody that's in there. Can you pretty much use it? So it's up to it's a pretty good gift. It's valued between 100 and 150 bucks depending on which you're going for, and it looks like you can get up to a 15-inch oval wheel if you want to as well. So I think that it was more than nice of MPI to offer this for helping out Chris and that for the race for their cause. Now, if you want to enter, you send me an email. So that's at frozen cactus, 2 O's for frozen and 2 K's for cactus at gmail.com. And you send me saying that you want to be part of the race. I'll send you back all the details of what you need. I'll confirm that you donate the $25 to Chris's GoFundMe, or Chris's wife's GoFundMe page. Also on the GoFundMe page, you can donate the $25 and just put, what did you say, Mike? It was a 0 tip for it.
Yeah, I did ask you for a tip as you're
Just
paying the thing, and I just put 0. But the
okay.
tip is to pay for the GoFundMe company or whatever. But anyway, if you just search the word Samantha Marie Round 4 at GoFundMe.com, Samantha Marie Round 4, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, when you're sending me the email, also designate the three car numbers that you'd like to have, and then so you can pick your own car numbers for the race. And I'll obviously pick one of those three depending on first come first serve, and all the details will be sent out. I think a week before. I know Hammer and I were talking today. We're going to test the setup in a room this weekend for it.
Daytona, A car.
Yep, and then also the week before we'll send. I think should we send the setup out a week before? This is what we haven't discussed yet, but we might get the setup out so you can test it just to see how it feels for you guys.
Well, we'll talk to the people that are enrolled, but boy, we need some more people. We got about half the room filled. We need to fill the other half, guys. So I know we got 700 actual listeners that listen to this on a regular basis. So out of those 700, one of you guys listening want to join us for some fun Wednesday that night. So come do it. It's $25. You can win all kinds of cool stuff. So get in on it, guys. Do it. All right. And then the final thing on this is actually Samantha Scales is going to join us on next week's podcast. And we're going to talk to her briefly about how she's doing and what her thoughts are about the charity event. So make sure to tune in next week on next week's podcast where we'll talk to her briefly. Chris, any final thoughts on this topic?
Not really. Just really appreciate it. This kind of came out of nowhere. I think like we had kind of talked about, I was kind of iffy about even posting the GoFundMe on the team Facebook page. I was kind of just weirded out about it. And then last week couldn't make the podcast because she was just having a really terrible day. And then I hop on just to catch this, and yeah, it was amazing. It blew my mind. And like she hadn't smiled in probably 3 days, and she went from tears of pain to tears of joy, and you guys really made her day.
All right, cool. Well, that's the whole idea, and we'll hope she gets better. So, guys, get enrolled in the race. It's October 3rd, which is a Wednesday. And it's called the Beat the Hell Out of Cancer 250.
And we'll also be posting all this again this week on all the social media as well, just trying to bring it back to everyone's view again.
Yeah, we got half the people pretty much signed up. We need the rest of you all to get involved, so do it. All right, Will, what's next? We got a new video from iRacing.
Yeah, was just watching that right now. It looks like we got a new promotional video. It sounds like we had Will Vincent there narrating it and just talking about iRacing. A lot of really cool action shots. Looks like a really well done promotional video.
It's like a regular commercial. Like if they were going to put a commercial on TV, this might be it. Just what is iRacing about? The overall service. It shows a lot of the different cars.
Yeah, it goes in depth on the cars as far as just good quick action shots. It looks like it's showing a lot of really cool stuff with the World Championship Series, whether it's the Peak, iRX, I always forget the acronym for the Rallycross now, or any of the World of Outlaw Championships. So it really does a really good job going in depth, very good promotional piece. Something that I could really imagine seeing played during, like, say, a cup race during a commercial break.
Yep. Yeah, check it out. That's on iRacing's YouTube page. All right, Chris, we're going into hardware software. Got the first one, the Heisingenveld. Is that how you say that? Heisingenveld.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that sounds good. But they've come out with a new pedal set, or are coming out with a new pedal set, and they look freaking awesome for the the $500 price range as far as the pedal set goes. But they're not, from what I can see, they're not like a true hydraulic pedal set, but it does look like they have. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. They do have load cells, and the brake looks like it has, like I said, it's not hydraulic, but it looks like it has a shock in it. So you would be able to adjust the stiffness. I couldn't confirm that, but that's sure what is what it looks like. And I think it's let's see, I think I lost the price, but it was just under $500 for the two
429, I
pedal.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The
for the two pedal, and then a three pedal is just a little over 500.
No, I'm sorry, 472. I found them on that third link. There is a place called demon-tweaks.com that is selling them at
Hello, whoever's watching.
$472.
Yeah, if you're in the market for a new set of pedals, it's probably, like I said, I didn't dig into it enough to know all the specifics, but it's probably worth looking at because they look like a pretty sturdy set, pretty good set of pedals for that price.
Yeah, that's the two pedal price. The three pedal is 566. And that is a load cell type pedal. That's what they call it. Now, what always get me on these particular brand, Heiskenveld, is they're not mounted to something. They're just like loose. And man, the way pedals work, they have to be mounted well. And so that's something you really have to figure out if you're going to buy these. So what do you guys think? I mean, if you bought these, would you know how to mount them? I mean, what would you do?
I think for a lot of people, if you're spending that much on pedals, like you have a rig, and I think a lot of people end up taking their pedals out of whatever they come in anyway to mount them kind of in their rig or on the wall or whatever. So I don't know that it's a huge deal, but it seems like they should at least have
A
another
plate or
option.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should at least come with that something.
Right. It
Yeah.
doesn't come with anything to mount them.
I'd be going to my local fabricators and having them whip me up something to mount them to. Absolutely.
They have screw downs on the bottom on all four corners. I mean, it looks pretty simple.
I just got the Fanatec V3s, and I kind of custom made a plate for the bottom of my rig to bolt them down. The one advantage I would say with this design is the V3s, you have a set gap between the pedals and you can't adjust them side by side. Being individually mounted with these, it would be a pain in the butt, but I would love to be able to get that proper gap between your gas, your brake, and your clutch.
Well,
Be a
and
little more adjustability.
the nice thing on it too is the way they sit. Is it looks like there's a little bit of play in between those where they mount, so you can have adjustability. It looks like up and down adjustability, but you're talking about if you're going to mount them, they're good for like heel towing. You can get them in the right spots for like road racing and stuff like that to be able to heel tow.
Yeah, right now with my V3s, the gas and the brake are too close together, in my opinion. I wish the brake was a little closer to the clutch. With these, you'd definitely be able to make that happen.
Okay, so to clarify, it does say on their website at heiskenveld.com, the Sim Pedal Sprint, which is this new one, the Sim Pedal Sprint will replace the Sim Pedals Pro in our product lineup. The Sim Pedals Pro will remain on sale for a discounted price until stock runs out. And so the pricing I just gave you before was actually the Pros, the old ones. So sorry about that confusion. The new ones are going to be 719 euro or 594 euro for non-EU customers. So you have to pay more, and if you're in Europe, I guess that doesn't make sense, but that's what it says. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, with all the talk about hydraulic pedals, I think people forget about these kind of pedals too. These load cells are always a good alternative, if you don't want to go full hydraulic.
Yeah, the combination of the load cell and then that little pneumatic deal, shock on the brake makes a big deal too. I've actually considered mounting like shocks from a RC car to my brake pedal just to give it a little bit more
Custom.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, Greg, you're next with a new kind of simulator.
Yeah, I was just watching this video. I'm going to bring it up here, but it looks like they've made what it's like to be inside. I'm trying to see what car is that? Oh, the LMP car. It looks like they've mounted screens on the outside of this they made a chassis that has the surroundings and it makes it look like they're inside a car, and they are going around the Lime Rock here, and man, it talk about being immersed inside of a car. Like the field of view is like perfect, and the way that it feels like he's, enclosed inside that car.
It's a circle projection screen, a half circle projection
Oh, is
screen.
that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's no seams or anything as you look from left to center to right. And you're right, he's in an actual car chassis or the equivalent of, and all the sim gear is in it. And you crawl in it, you open a door, and you step into a car, and it's got this half circle projection screen. And anyway, it's pretty cool. First time I've seen this company, but it's called KCRsimulators.com.
Yeah, I tried to find some prices on this stuff. It looks like they make all kinds of cockpits, but you have to just email them some info for more information. So
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
if you look at
super
their
pricey.
website, you'll see more pictures of it that will show that circular projection screen. But you can contact them and buy all this turnkey. And when you get into the chassis, so to speak, it from inside it looks like a real car, but from the outside it kind of looks like a little Star Trek uh, GoPod that you would fly in space. Just a tiny little spacecraft is what it looks like from the outside. It's just like a little cockpit with like that completely covers you.
To be honest, it looks like it almost looks like a McLaren body, like the center
Like
part
an
of a
F1
McLaren.
body, right?
Well, no, the car one looks like a McLaren car,
Right.
and it's just the center section of it, and then the Formula One one is like the monocoque, right?
Right.
I would love one of those screens. Oh my God.
Yeah, the screen is very impressive, but obviously the projector has to be mounted from the ceiling right above the cockpit. They don't show any pictures of it, but you got to have a room to put this in, you know. All right, pretty cool. All right, Tony Groves, you're up next.
Yeah, actually, I think I'll let Greg take the lead on this one. This is definitely in his
Okay.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, Fanatec wheel, huh?
So it looks like they were asking about the PlayStation 4 version, or like the F1 PlayStation 4 version that's supposed to be coming out of their direct drive in to be alongside the their sponsorship with F1. And I guess Thomas, was it Jackamir, the founder or what of
Yeah, he's
Fanatec?
the guy with Fanatec.
Yeah, so he's the one with Fanatec that does a lot of their announcements, and he's saying that sorry for the name there, Thomas. I'm bad with last names. The reveal of the F1 license wheel isn't coming yet, but looks like they could have it ready for Black Friday and have inventory in stock. But also they're going to also bring the PS4 version out of the Direct Drive alongside with the Direct Drive 1 and 2. And they got full support of Sony for all those, I believe, as well as what he's saying in that post. So
Is there a market for people running PS4 to buy this wheel? I'm just surprised.
well, I have the CSL Elite PS4, which if you have that base, you can buy any rim for it. The PlayStation base rim comes with it, will work for the PlayStation, but you can add the Xbox hub for it to run the Xbox, and then obviously any of those rims work for the PC. So you basically get a 3-in-1 console version, because Sony likes to differ their stuff. So Sony puts all their information and hardware in their base, and want sole rights to it. So the way that Fanatec's gotten around it is, okay, they make the base, but then you can buy the next Xbox hub. Same wheelbase works for Xbox with that hub and a different rim. And then you got each one of those rims will work with the PC. So you basically get a 3-in-1 thing, depending on if you're, a PlayStation, Xbox, or all PC. Like I use all three, so that's why I bought this PlayStation one. That's why I did a lot of research to buy the CSL Elite PS4
Right.
version of it, right?
What I thought was cool about his announcement is new F1 licensed steering wheels. And so and they're actually going to be F1 licensed, which is kind of cool.
So that means it's probably going to look, I don't know who they've got the license through, but what steering wheels are going to look like then? Which car do they have a license with?
If you're on their website, you could kind of scroll through like the on the homepage, and it kind of gives you an outline. And I've never seen a Formula One wheel like it because you have the handles on the left and right, a bar across the top with kind of like the yoke in the middle, but the bottom is not connected via the left and right side. You kind of see like an outline of it. I really think it's going to be like a almost like a generic F1 wheel.
The one thing I can see it possibly being, if it's that image, it could look like the Williams wheel from F1. They don't have a dash in the center like all the other ones. They have a dash on their right in front of their visor on the front of the car, their windscreen. So they don't use, they have all the buttons on the wheel, but there's no inputs like they have a screen or anything seeing anything. It's on like a dash. Whereas all the other F1 wheels have a big screen in the middle. So I'm wondering if they're modeling it after that, because it looks more like that kind of rim.
That makes sense. Yeah, because there's really not a whole lot of room there in the center to have any kind of screen or monitor.
All right, so stay tuned for new wheels from Fanatec. Black Friday. Tony, you got the next one. Special rigs on Instagram.
Yeah. So this one we got a couple, and the first one up is from sim racer Chris Green, and this thing is an absolute beaut. It's obviously set up for VR, and it's all done in 80/20 aluminum, and it's decked right out. He's got the butt kickers, he's got the wind simulators on there. The full out seat with the seat belts, and it's all decked out in a nice red color scheme to it. I don't see it. He's missing anything on this except maybe I don't see a handbrake. Maybe we need to put an X for no handbrake, but I see the sequential shifter. I see the 8 shifter. This thing is looking pretty solid.
I love it. I mean, I love the color code, the coloring too. I mean, even the pedals are red, and it matches the seat, it matches the belts, and everything else is silver, and
That's
it just
what we're
looks
looking at.
really good.
Oh, you got all the
Yeah,
stuff here.
kudos to Chris
Looks pretty
Green.
nice.
That's a very nice setup.
Yeah, and the other one that came along with this was a very similar styled setup, a little bit more flash. This one's a this one's motion. It looks like it's got the D-Box type motion setup. He's got the wind simulators on there as well. Not quite as colorful, but I see a mighty mean looking button box.
Two of them.
There is 2 of them, yeah. So one's down on the right, and then one's mounted a little more vertically just in front of the shifter there. But holy cow, yeah, you got a button for just about everything on there. Another really, really slick looking system.
Looks like
And I think that chair is that Sim Experience chair that's got the hydraulic flaps in it.
So we're looking at this one here.
You see the servos on the back of the chair?
Oh, good call. Yeah, I missed that. I thought I was.
Oh, it
That's
is,
the one-
yeah.
What they call
Yep.
it, the G5000 or whatever. What's it called?
Yep.
I thought those were like butt kickers or something of that nature, like kind of like a rumble pad. But yeah, that's really cool.
You can land a plane with that thing with that many buttons.
Yeah, check out this Instagram page, guys. It's pretty cool. The guy's name is Sim Racer Stuff. Sim Racer Stuff, all one word. And he posts up basically beautiful pictures of beautiful VR rigs, pretty much. I might be able to get some ideas. And you know what? All of them, they all have the wind thing going with the fans. And I just feel like I'm missing out because I don't have that. All right, Will, what's next?
You caught me sleeping here. Looks like we had first pictures.
Another wheel.
Look here.
This one is Greg found this one, but there wasn't a price.
Yeah, it looks like a custom built wheel to match. Looks like possibly an Audi either. Looks like they have the R8 LMS carbon fiber wheel, custom built. Looks like it comes with its own little carrying case.
The case
Right?
looks nice. The wheel looks pretty good. I mean,
It looks like something I probably don't want to see the price on.
So it's a Thrustmaster capable wheel.
yeah.
So
So this is F1 Sim Games is the name. They're on Facebook. I couldn't find pricing. I tried to, but I couldn't. They don't have it published. I don't know if it's a new product or what.
It's at the bottom of the page. It's another email us for a quote. So it's expensive.
Yeah, if you don't write the number on the page, yeah, watch out.
It looks like it's like very well purpose built. You have traction control, ABS. You have all the knobs and buttons you'd really ever need. It even looks like you have a push for pass left, pass right notification in sim. Um, it's definitely purpose built for road racing, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find that on Facebook at F1 Sim Games is the name of the place. All right, let's keep moving. Chris, you're next. The new cards, the 2080.
Yeah, and I've seen a few comparison videos come out so far. I hadn't seen this one yet. This is from J 2 Cents. I actually have seen a ton of his videos though. He's super reliable, and he did a test between the new 2080 cards and the old 1080s, and kind of found that it's not worth the money. You're paying like 70% more money for 30% more performance if you're lucky. Most tests, you're looking, in most games, you're looking at more around a 10% boost.
Yeah, this is an interesting video. I did watch. I watched parts of it, but when he gets into the actual testing, where he shows the data, which is throughout the bulk of the video, uh, he basically plays different games and he shows the performance based on which video card he used, the 2080 Ti, the 2080, or the 1080 Ti, or the 1080. And then he put up a bar graph. And so visually you can get a quick reference as he flashes the data on the screen for a couple seconds on each game of how it trends and what the overall performance amount increase is as from one card to the other. And so my findings from watching the data were the 1080 Ti and the 2080 were basically the same performance wise. Okay. There were a few titles where the 2080 was just a little bit better, but not much. But the 2080 Ti, which is the better one, that one was 30% more on a lot of titles, but on a good third of them down to maybe 10% more. So it's somewhere between 10 and 30% better on most gaming titles if you went from the 1080 Ti to the 2080 Ti. And so, like Chris said, it's just at the most 30%. And yeah, his overall conclusion at the end of the video was don't buy, don't buy.
Yeah, I agree. And if, like I said, he does really good benchmarking. If you're saying don't buy it, then really the only reason you're buying it is because you want to have the newest best thing. You're not gonna get enough of a performance boost to make it worth that kind of money.
it looks like a lot of people are going to be, a lot of these are going to have to go out to a lot of testers and have a lot of reviews, and that's where a lot of their products going to go. It looks like if they keep saying don't buy it, it might have to drop price pretty quickly.
Well, I saw another video that we don't have listed here called Linus Tech Tips, who's very popular, and he also said something similar, but his take was this is a new technology and the developers haven't had time to really develop for it. And so all the games are really geared for the Pascal type cards, which are the 1080 Ti and before. They're called Pascal type cards. And so this new one, these 2080s are a different technology called real-time ray tracing. And so until that develops some more, we're really not going to get the benefit of what this new technology brings out in these cards. And so he was saying, let it develop, wait a year or two, and then, buy into this new ray tracing.
Yeah, because if any of the games that are being made are going to take advantage of that technology, they're just being made now. because no developer is going to spend a bunch of money trying to optimize for cards that nobody has. So yeah, I think that's your best bet. Just wait like a year, maybe even 2.
Well,
Well,
go ahead.
sorry, Greg. I let me throw my 2 cents in here because I think that's like the horriblest thing to do. I want everybody to buy these new bloody cards.
That's true.
I need those old cars to come down in price because there's no way in hell I can afford one of those brand new ones. But a reduced price 1080, now that could be in my reach. So come on, guys, help a poor Canadian boy out in his dreams of having nice graphics.
The other thing I noticed, the difference between the 1080 Ti and the 1080 is a lot. And if you can afford the difference, the 1080 Ti is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, the also if you're gonna look for stuff that you want for your computers, J2 Cents is a good all sense. Going to his YouTube page, I always go there to look at product if I'm wondering anything because he reviews a lot of stuff and he has a pretty good system to benchmark everything and the way he does videos like this for everything. So definitely check him out.
Yeah, it's called JZ, actual Z, 2 TWO Cents, CENTS, all one word. And yeah, he's on YouTube. He's got 1.6 million subscribers. So, all right, I got the next one. An email from a listener, Ben Saunders, who has emailed us before. Thanks, Ben. He's got a tip that he wants to throw out that we have not actually covered on the show before. And so, what is the easiest way of running triples alongside VR? And how do you switch between them, basically? And so he's got a method. And so I'm going to read it. Number one, firstly, I set up a desktop shortcut to the iRacing folder located as standard in the My Documents. This gives you quick access to all the tweakable iRacing parameters. Number two, I set up my triples in iRacing so that I have a decent frame rate and everything looks peachy. Then exit the sim. Number three, I browse back to the folder I set up in step one, which contains my newly created iRacing renderdx11.ini file, and copy and rename it to renderdx11monitor.ini. Number four, then set up my Oculus Rift in iRacing so that I have a decent frame rate and everything looks peachy. Then exit the sim. Number five, again, I browse back to that folder and that contains that iRacing render dx11ini file and rename it to render dx11vr.ini. I now create a copy of both of those render ini files I have just created and save them somewhere safe. Now that the hard work is done, all you need to do is decide, are you going to do VR or monitor? Go back to that folder and drop that particular ini into the folder. And that's the easiest way to switch back and forth. That's a great idea.
Oh, what a sad thing when you get to have triples or VR as a choice.
Yeah.
So that one file is what you have to adjust if you're wanting to switch back and forth. Now, this assumes you have enough graphics card to have everything plugged in at the same time. And I think that's a challenge for most people. I think usually the card has just enough for the triples or maybe the fourth, the triple with the fourth, and there's no way you could run VR without unplugging something from the triples.
Well, that's why everybody needs to go out and buy the 2080 so that way they can run all that stuff all at the same time.
That's a great tip, though. I wonder, there's probably some other guy using that same.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy that it only takes that one file. I thought it was going to be more than that.
Stuff.
You were cutting out there, Chris. But I thought it would be more than that. I thought you had to change the Windows resolution. Am I mistaken about that?
I'm thinking he probably has it set up so when you're in triples, it's already stays in that resolution. So instead of having screen 1, 2, and 3, he has one long screen resolution wise. That's how I've always had it set up when I ran the triples. And then Oculus, it automatically
I appreciate it.
adjusts
Thanks, man.
to the
I hope
resolution
you
for the
enjoy the
Oculus
podcast.
headset.
Okay.
we're gonna get to
So
results here soon.
would it be like I just have it sitting on the side of the floor here and I just pick it up and put it on my head and
Do you
the
race an
triples would
iRacer?
turn off and the VR would start?
Yeah, so once you have the Oculus software open, as soon as you put that headset on and you launch the sim, it says, "Do you want to launch in Oculus? Yes or no?" And if I hit yes, it launches straight to the headset. It opens a window, and I have mine set to like I think a 1600 by 900 pixel in case I want to do any kind of recording or screen capture. Keep that still 1080 resolution, just kind of compressed a little bit. But if I hit no, then it goes to my one monitor on my rig as full screen. And the only thing I adjust is my field of view because Oculus, as soon as you launch, it auto sets your field of view to 110. Um, but if you had different INI files, you wouldn't have to deal with that at all. That's actually pretty smart to have that ready to go.
Yeah, good idea.
Now, sorry, Mike, one very important thing that you kind of skipped over there was if when you make those separate INI files, make sure to save an extra copy of them both in a separate folder somewhere else, so you know where they are. Somewhere safe, so to speak. Just so when iRacing updates, um, those files get overwritten. You have to go back and do it all over again.
Right, good point. They need to be saved somewhere else, like on your desktop. They can't be in the iRacing folder.
Cool.
That was while I've been gone, my computer crashed, and I did actually have all of those files saved. Thank goodness. The only thing I couldn't save was my controller configuration, but everything else I was able to just transfer the new file or the old file in place of the new one. And I had all my settings back. All my black boxes were where I liked them in VR, and I thank goodness I had those files saved.
Not a bad idea to back up all those INI files, probably. Okay, well, let's jump into results. Let's finish off the NASCAR iRacing series from last week at Vegas. First week of the playoffs. I got, wow, P5 in the Thursday Fixed. What a run. I was car number one. I ran top 10 all day. And it was like weird because I wasn't fading on old tires as I usually do. I just was, I guess they were fading as much as I were or worse. And there was certainly fall off, but I didn't fall back through the field like I usually do. And I was able to keep my track position through a tire run. And wow, it was a great race. So uh, really enjoyed that run. And then Friday
Sorry,
Open,
excuse me.
Chris, you had a great race too. But you said to hear you got Butterworth.
Yeah, I had a clean race all the way up till the end, and you guys decided to stay out on 20 lap old tires, and we had a one lap restart, and yeah, Butterworth was one of them. Yeah, I always seem to find that guy on the track, but yeah, he spun his tires, and I got right into the back of him 4x, but still finished third. That caution
Third.
came out immediately. Yeah.
So were you in position to win, and that blew it, or what?
Nah, not really. Actually, for that race. That was pretty good. That was probably as high as I had been, probably the entire race. So I was okay with it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. Did that ending kind of that was about the same as the Wednesday open race, was it not? Like right at the end, the guys didn't take the as. I'm trying to remember. I should have wrote stuff down about that race, and I didn't. Silly me. Um, but I have a feeling it seems to me that I remember that they're both kind of very similar. Everybody just crashed right on like the last freaking lap.
Yeah, it was identical. The front row didn't take tires on that one, and that one actually did cost me a spot. That should have been a second and another third.
Right, right. Yeah, because I know I finished eighth, and top 10 was good. Man, I wish I could remember anything else that happened in that race.
Yeah, top 10. And you finished, so that's good. All right, Saturday Fixed. Tony Rochette ran. He ran a P15. He was at a split higher than usual, only 3 cautions, which would have had a top 5 if he had saved enough fuel. He was 2 laps short. Didn't he say that his crew chief thing was actually ran him out of fuel?
He said that a couple times that he's had to go above the crew chief app just to say to be at the right amount because it's running them dry.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else I've ever heard that's happened to before with the crew chief app, except for Tony. I don't know what's up. We got to figure him out. All right, Sunday Open. Chris, you got up early and got another P3.
Yep, that was the race Tony was talking about that we ran together. But he, yeah, it was a good race till the end. Again, a couple guys, just everybody told him, we had learned from the rest of the week you don't want to stay out on 20 lap tires, even if you only have a lap or two. But they didn't listen. They wrecked. We had a caution, P3. But wait, that one should have been a P2. But the guy that won, the guy that was leading the race for most of the race and was way faster, and had us all covered, he still won. He still managed to get by the two wreckers and win the race. So all was right with the world, at least.
Yeah. All right. Then Sunday fixed. I ran P5 again at Vegas, so I had two P5s there in fixed. Just another good run, top 10 all day long. The back half of the top 10, and brought it up to P5 at the end there. I think that was the highest I got all day, but I did good at Vegas considering, and so I'm kind of happy with my results there. All right, moving on to Richmond. We ran Wednesday fixed. Tony Rochette, he got a P12. He got loose in the trial, was running conservative, but had 8 minutes required when he hit the wall by himself. 20 laps to go, caution came out. The safety car glitched and never came out. So the caution was out, but no safety car. And so he finished P12 with that problem. I got a P13. I was wrecked multiple times at Richmond. It's one of those things you just can't miss. So when they wreck up in front of you, they come up the track or they go down the track, and you go one way or the other, and they just come right up in front of you, and it's just crazy. I ran last night, Wednesday Open, wrecked all by myself off 4. Spun out at one point, P16, but I find it very hard to run Richmond. I just, if I'm not up on the wheel and as you're coming up off the corner on the gas, I just lose it sometimes, and it's hard, but yuck. And then today, Greg, you got a P4 in your run, so good result. And then I think Steve got a P8.
Yeah, Steve was P8, and Bobby got wrecked out. He finished 20th.
Yep, and I got a P22. I was in top split. I got wrecked out for 14 minutes damage. But I think the story of the race is the amount of cautions. My race was 18 cautions for 89 laps out of 200 laps.
We were 15 for 75.
I'm in top split. 18 cautions, guys. It's crazy. We were going 5 or 8 laps at a time and then caution. 5 or 8 laps, caution. 5 or 8 laps, caution.
The real life Vegas race was probably pretty close to that. once they got towards the end there, holy cow, they had like 5 cautions.
We went 50 laps on our last run, but that was it. That was the longest run we got in our race.
Yeah, we never even got a long run.
One thing I've seen they've done recently in some of the dirt pro races, if they have a couple cautions, they'll go to single file restarts. I almost wonder if that's something they need to do in NIS. I know some people wouldn't like it, but I would rather to have a single file restart and go 20, 30 green flag laps than a double file restart to go 3 or 4.
Well, in our race, there was a lot of discussions. We had a bunch of chatterboxes in our race, and they were giving their 2 cents on what they should do. One guy suggested that it should cost us, or you should start out the week with 22 incident points, and you have all week to have it. And I said to him, if you do that, you're not going to get any participation by the weekend, so that doesn't benefit iRacing. Another guy said you got to pay to get your incident points back, and I said that won't happen either. People won't will give up revenue for it. Like a lot of these guys are coming up with solutions where, they want to take, it's an excuse to not put time in. I was guilty of it. I haven't practiced much this week, but when I get into a race, I don't overdrive it. And a lot of people just in that room were just, it's if one guy didn't get going, they were going 3 wide into the corner, and then the guy on the bottom just never could hold it.
I would say the only idea I feel like I've ever had that I think was semi decent on that front is I would love to see them try to split races based off of I rating. I'm sorry, safety rating and not I rating, at least for a week or two and see how that worked out. Because I feel like I would rather have 5 guys in a race be way faster than me and 5 I could be competitive with, and maybe 10 that are mid pack and 10 that are slow, and have long runs rather than everybody be so on top of each other speed wise that you have these wreck fests. I think let's try splitting these races based off of safety rating and not I rating and see how that works.
But
Interesting.
I have some suggestions on this front.
I'll let you go in a sec there, Hammer, with yours. But the only problem I can see with that, Will, is safety rating doesn't really dictate. It's too easy to go back up. So for instance, I had a bad Indianapolis week, and I had a bunch of Darlington, and I went down to a 1.1, or sorry, a 2.1 safety rating. Well, that's not indicative of who I am as a racer, right? That's just incidents per that week. But now I'm already back up to a 4 2 weeks later, and it doesn't. I didn't change as a person over those 2 weeks, so that's the only problem I can see with it.
Okay, so you'd be putting him in different splits, yeah.
But would you have lost as much safety rating if you were in a race with cleaner drivers?
I didn't think it mattered that week, though. Like, I get what you're saying. So you're saying, obviously, if I was going into that week, I was at like a 4 something, I would be racing against people that were at a 4, and I shouldn't have lost as much as what you're saying.
I would say yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, I take a lot more pride personally in my safety rating than I do my I rating. If I lose a little I rating, hey, people are better than me. That's me. I have to improve. But I have a rough race where people are ramming in the back of me and stuff like that. Really grinds my gears. So as personally, I take more pride in my safety rating than my I rating. And as I try to have cleaner races, I will get better finishes because I'm finishing these races. I think judging it solely based on I rating, especially when you have high split races like NIS, it's super, super competitive to the point where you kind of have to move a person or be more aggressive and make those dive bomb passes. And I think that's where we get these problems where I think if, hey, I'm personally okay with being a mid pack guy if I know the guy in front of me is genuinely quicker, and that's where I need to personally improve. But as long as I'm able to have a clean race and develop and learn my line, I would rather have that experience than an experience where, hey man, me and these 10 guys, we're on top of each other. We're all equally quick, but now it's a wreck fest, and now instead of racing for 2 hours and getting that practice, I'm racing for 30 minutes, and now I'm in the garage for 30 minutes getting it fixed just to go out there and be in the way. I think there is some room to play there a little bit. And if it was done right, I think it would be a big improvement.
Yeah. Hey, John?
So the short end of this is that you're not going to improve the quality of the racing without taking a short-term hit on the participation. Those two things go against each other inherently. So you have to appreciate, and I don't like to speak in terms of totality, but in reality, in order to improve the quality of racing, you will lose some participation in the short term. But the participation that gets lost is in the series at the highest license level. The trick to this is to get people to not want to lose their license that allows them in the vehicle. So if I have an A 4.0 and we were to quadruple the incidence points, for instance, I would drop down to a B license. If I had, let's just say I got DQ'd in one race, I'd drop down to a B license. The next part of the solution is that once you get to a B license, you are at the B license until the end of the season. You get one opportunity to come back up to the A class for
Hardcore.
that. You get one chance to come back up to A class in that season. So like it is now, you go back down to B, you work your way back up, and you get into A, right? If you go back down a second time, you're done for the rest of the season. You're in the Xfinity series for the rest of the season.
I
That's
would
interesting.
I would agree on that. And one thing I've noticed, and we've seen these stats, is Mazdas and street stocks get the most participation. They're rookie, they're D class,
Yep.
and as you work your way up, I feel, let's just say you get out of rookies and you get out of D, C through A should be open to anybody. But let's say John Hammer grinds his way up to an A license. I'm at a C, which I'm really at an A, but let's say I'm at a C. Me and John Hammer sign up for the same race, the NIS race. I think because he's taken the time to get the A license, give him that 22 incident limit before he's DQ'd. But
Give
me
you
as
10.
a C, yes. Because even in real life, say Jimmy Johnson goes out there and tears up a bunch of stuff. Nobody cares. He's Jimmy Johnson. He's gotten to that point. But Ross Chastain, he gets in a decent cup car. He's new. He starts tearing stuff up. He's held more accountable. So I think
He doesn't get a free pass.
Correct. And I don't think the license should be a free pass to let's go out here and wreck people. But we've seen with the Formula One
Interesting.
series, with the Silver Crown car, not so much on the NASCAR side. I think the sim gets a lot of participation there. A lot of these A series struggle, and I think it's because it is closed off to a smaller group of people. And if we open these up to anybody, say with a C, B, or A class, but just hold each one of them accountable differently. So let's
NIS
say
is C, right? So if you're in NIS, you only need a D 4.0. The problem is that if you can drop down 3 entire license classes and still raise NIS next week. Think about that.
I think that's wrong, and I think that's why we get such bad races. I think you're a C license, you get 8 incident points. You're a B license, you get 12, and you're an A license, you get 20. So give people a reason to want that higher license, not because they want to drive the harder car, but because they want to have a little more flexibility, a little more leeway.
But you can't have the easy give back like you were talking about. Once you get the B license, I only think you should get a shot at it.
I agree with that, yeah.
All right, well, we're out of time. Final thought on this is, when I look at my Joel Real timing from today's event of top split of NIS, there's one person with a B license. Everybody else is an A license. And so you guys have great ideas, but would it really affect this particular split? I don't think it would have. I'd still be racing about the same amount of people, the same people, and I think we'd still run half the race under caution. But it is crazy. Let's get into final thoughts. Chris Scales, final thought.
I just want to appreciate y'all putting on the race next month. That, like I said, that was a huge surprise, really awesome, and having a lot of fun with the old bastards. I'm glad that Tony is joined up now. I think we're at the Milwaukee Mile this coming Monday. That should be fun.
Yep, and we're happy to have iRacers Lounge involved in the sponsorship of that series. So thanks to the old bastards. And don't forget to sign up for that race, guys. You start it by going to GoFundMe.com and search Samantha Round 4. All right, Greg Hectus, final thoughts.
Just looking for. I'm pretty much done the oval racing for the week. I know we might be. I'll let John talk about what he wants to do with when his final thoughts. But I'll probably run some road this week. But anybody that wants to get in contact with me, email me about that. About the event. It's at frozencactus@gmail.com. Frozen with 2 O's, cactus with 2 K's. And same thing, you can watch me on twitch.tv at Frozen Cactus as well. And I stream the podcast here as well as all the races I'm in. And I look forward to racing with you guys.
All right, John Hammer, final thought.
double the incident points. But outside of that, definitely need to get some hosted sessions up, and they'll be just pretty much open to anybody, because I just need people in there to get a draft going and figure out if I have the weather right. I have a really, I think, unique approach to how to set up the weather for this, and try to get a lot of opportunity for passing, but not a lot of opportunity for bump drafting. High tape, high temperature, high track state night race. It should be interesting. So we got to see if it's going to work.
Thanks,
All right, so
thanks,
look for it and
Dave.
hosted.
Appreciate.
Yeah, we'll try to
Welcome
put something
to,
together,
my
get some
stream.
practices going.
Look forward to
Thanks, John.
you watching every once in a while.
Tony Groves, final
Thanks
thought.
for the
Yeah.
ad.
Well, last week racing at Vegas, I did 3 starts, which is quite unusual for me, but I really liked that track. I had a lot of fun. 2 out of those 3, I was able to pull off top 10s, which made me very happy. This week, well, I don't even know. Boy, Richmond, after hearing your guys' horror stories, makes
Anybody
me want
watching
to
still?
race it even less.
Here's the
So I may be taking a pass this week.
here's all the details
But
for the event.
my
It's going to
silly
be
brain will probably
broadcasted. The
get me to
poll
run at
winner is
least
going to
tomorrow
get
night
$5
and,
plus a custom
enjoy the
paint
wreck
job by
fest with the
Bobby
rest of you
Jonas
guys.
of Jonas Graphics.
Old Bastards Racing.
Stages are
those guys
awarded
are those guys are
$25 gift
great. They
cards
welcomed me
for
right in
Papa John's
for
Pizza.
my first race, and
Uh,
hopefully I didn't stink up the show too
MK
much. Even though
Gems, or Jewelry and
2 out of
Gems,
my
is going to
4
have a mystery
X's
award,
that
which
night
we will
came
let
off
know
of
in the
bouncing
race.
off the pit road
And then the big
wall.
one,
I can't believe I
MPI.
did that, but
First place is going, or
I'm
third
glad I
place you
don't
get a
stream as
MPI
of yet, so nobody
$25
saw
gift
that.
card. Second place you
I
get
guess.
a MPI
Yeah.
$25
Other than
gift
that, hey,
card.
guys,
And
join up to
first
this
place,
race.
you're going to get a steering wheel,
It's for a good cause, and
racing
it's going to
combo,
be an
which is the steering
absolute
wheel
blast. We're going
that
to
you
have,
want to pick, and
I
a
know all
hub
these
for
knuckleheads
your
here talking tonight will be racing. So
for your
come on out, have
wheel
some
setup,
fun.
so you can
It's
have
for a
both.
great cause.
Also, MPI
Yeah,
has
and win a
donated 2
cool,
hats for
cool wheel.
fastest lap and most laps led.
So good prizes too. Don't
we
forget
look
that
forward
part.
to
Will
it.
Gibson, final thought.
Just
Anybody
glad
that
to be
wants
back.
to join,
Sorry for showing up a
you
little
can,
late. I just got off work and ran
email me
straight
at
to my computer.
Frozen Cactus.
Always fun to talk.
At gmail.com. So it's Frozen's with 2 O's, Cactus with 2 K's, and we'll hope to hear from you guys. We got half the spots left to fill up, and we got 2 weeks to do it. So we look forward to it, guys.
Sooner rather than later.
Yep, happy to have you back. Very good. Yeah, that discussion about SR, IR, and how to split races and stuff. Yeah, there was a huge thread on the forum, 14 pages. I think, John, you were in the middle of that. But I didn't even bring it onto the show because it's just like 5 million people with 5 million opinions, and nobody's perfectly right. I think we have a good balance, but could it be tweaked? Maybe. All right, my final thought is, boy, Richmond, wow, I can't believe how I suck here after doing so well in Vegas. With top 5s in Vegas, I was thinking, man, maybe I got something here. But then I go to Richmond, but it's been bad luck. Everything that I've gotten caught up in has been, I've run into people that are wrecking way in front of me, and I just can't miss it. There's no way to miss it. And that's what's been going on. So just looking for some luck, and looking forward to Charlotte. So. And with that, we'll see you later.
All right, guys. It looks like we're done for the night.
User on your channel stopped
Thanks for
Okay,
calling
clear.
by,
Title ideas.
and we'll see you next week on the thing on the podcast, and we'll also see me when I'm streaming next week. I'll probably stream this weekend as well. All right, take care, guys.
I forgot what we talked about. What we talked about after that last discussion. I'm still
Frozen
thinking about that.
Cactus
I like that idea,
out.
Cameron.